Afghanistan is a country of bustling commerce, where the traditional and the modern exist in the same space. Once an international leader in several sectors, Afghanistan's export potential has been severely inhibited by nearly 5 decades of armed conflict. Major challenges include underdeveloped and damaged infrastructure, outdated production methods and equipment, meeting import country quality requirements, lack of market intelligence, and limited capacity to market Afghan products to international buyers. In order to assist Afghanistan in achieving its full export potential, the Afghan government has invited the International Trade Center, or ITC, to provide support developing a 5-year national export strategy to identify and address the key obstacles that currently constrain Afghanistan's export volume.
I believe trade can play an important role in economic development, job creation, regional integration, and contribute to the economic growth of the country. To address the issue of the trade deficit in Afghanistan, the Ministry of Commerce and Industries is closely working with our trade partners to balance trade. The President of the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan has a vision to transform Afghanistan from an import country to an export source. To achieve this vision, the Ministry of Commerce and Industries has taken the initiative in developing the National Export Strategy for Afghanistan.
The National Export Strategy, or NES, we started the first consultation in February 2017 this year, and it was one of the most needed documents. This was a very good opportunity for the government of Afghanistan, the private sector, and other stakeholders in the country to come together and start this consultation on how to develop a comprehensive national export strategy.
ITC is not a new partner for Afghanistan. Currently, ITC is using their technical knowledge and expertise in helping us build this national export strategy. Today's event is for the last consultation of this strategy to agree on the plan of action on how we will implement this strategy on each different sector.
The intervention of the ITC, a joint technical agency of the United Nations and World Trade Organization, was made possible with funding from the European Union under the Advancing Afghan Trade project. The ITC supports developing and transitioning economies to become more competitive and enhance their connectivity with international markets.
Development of this strategy was an inclusive process which over 500 stakeholders were involved and consulted, through which we identified the major export sectors. These sectors are saffron, fresh fruits and vegetables, dry fruits and nuts, precious stones and jewellery, carpets, and also marble and granite. Once this strategy is endorsed by the leadership of the National Unity Government, I would like to request donor community to support us in the implementation of this important national export strategy.
Private sector is one of the key stakeholders in the development process of the national export strategy. We have conducted a number of roundtables in Kabul and in provinces in order to come up with a comprehensive strategy which is private sector oriented. So this is the advantage of the strategy, because it's being developed in line with the needs and in line with the comments and views of the private sector.
I'm Wolfgang Plaza. I'm advisor to the President in the area of international trade, investment and export promotion. When I started, I had the idea that I would turn to the ITC to ask for help. And very short thereafter, I found out that a project was already underway for doing exactly what I had in mind. And I'm very happy to realize that what they are doing in this country is really state-of-the-art development cooperation in the area of international trade.
Private sector development in Afghanistan is not going to be only organic. It has to be based on market-led solutions, whether it's targeting the neighboring countries or regional countries. If we look at China, for instance, India, those two countries themselves have about 450 million middle-class people, and they need to be served. And there are shortages for products that Afghan companies produce and Afghan farmers produce as well, provided that they actually comply with the market requirements.
The overarching goal of the National Export Strategy is to develop a plan of action that helps Afghanistan compete, connect, and change. Compete on a regional and global level with other international suppliers in both quality and price. Connect with buyers in key target markets and establish long-term business relationships based on consistent, high-quality supply. Change the way that Afghanistan produces its key products by facilitating upgrades across the value chain and helping Afghan producers and enterprises adopt best practices in order to meet international quality and sanitary requirements.
Afghanistan is witnessing in the last years a very deep economic crisis. International trade is definitely one of the factors who can contribute to the economic development and the creation of jobs in Afghanistan. The national export strategy is identifying the needs and the strategies how to increase the competitiveness of Afghan products so they can develop a market not just inside Afghanistan but outside Afghanistan. This is a key in this economic transition. The national export strategy has been presented to the private sector already, has been presented to the PRISEC, which is the executive committee which is putting all the stakeholders of the private sector around one table, and it's been presented already to the Council of Ministers. After they will receive the last round of high-level comments, they will produce a final document which will be finally presented and approved by the High Economic Council.
Within each sector strategy paper, global sector trends are examined, target markets identified, and Afghanistan's sector value chain analyzed in depth. A complementary strategy paper looks at cross-cutting issues that affect all sectors, to include quality management, trade facilitation, trade information and promotion, skills development, access to finance, and business and professional services. Success implementing the National Export Strategy will be facilitated by the Afghanistan National Trade Policy, a parallel endeavor by the ITC to ensure that there is an enabling regulatory framework in place to support Afghan exporters.
We are very grateful to ITC for being considerate of the women's participation in the consultations of National Export Strategy. It's very important to bring women to the foreground now, because women were in the background of producing all these export commodities like carpet, dry fruits, spices, and sorting fresh fruits and so on. But now it's the time to bring them to the foreground and make them the owner of their own income and the owner of their own products.
All in all, it's about resource optimizations, it's about accountability, it's about visions, pulling forces towards the right directions, but at the end of the day, it's making difficult choices, drastic choices, and prioritizing what is needed to further develop the economy.
By gathering together all of the stakeholders in the Afghan economy under one initiative, the National Export Strategy will help Afghan traders be more competitive in the global market and bring much-needed capital and, more importantly, hope back into Afghanistan. Increasing the level of exports will directly result in higher incomes and improved quality of life for enterprises, individuals, and communities involved in the sector value chains, and will lead to the fulfillment of the initiative's vision. Peace through prosperity. Prosperity through trade.